welcome to English 1020. I wanted to take a minute to just say hello and introduce you to the course and just say, well, welcome back to those of you who were with me in 1010, and I look forward to getting to know everyone who I'm just now meeting for English 1020. So I thought it might be nice to just talk a little bit about what the course is going to do and also walk you through our D2L course shell so that you are familiar with it and you have a decent understanding as the semester gets going. So I wanted to also say that mindset really matters in this class because you all come into this class as writers. You've survived English 1010, and so you have a foundational knowledge of writing. But writing is one of those skills that, and especially in this course, as far as taking those skills to the next level, because we'll be doing research and argumentation. So it's a skill building class. And if you go into it thinking I'm already a writer, well, that's true. But at the same time, anyone can grow their writing skills, myself included. So this is not a content course, but a skills-based course. And so I encourage you to tailor the work to meet your own needs and consider your things like your major or your interest so that it can drive you forward in this class. So what is this class going to help you do? Just a few things. We're going to be reading and thinking about why. We're going to be asking that all the time. You're going to learn how to find and assess sources, and this includes in your personal life and in your academic life. So thinking about how the sources are credible and how they're useful and how to cite those sources. So thinking about what are citation styles, why are there different styles, how do you cite, why do you cite? Of course, one of the most important components here is learning how to develop your ideas and argue them well, and how do you sort of mix sources with your own ideas so that it's nice synthesis of information. All right. And I also want to have you consider what are your own views and how are you going to get people to listen to those views. Obviously, we're going to write and get yourself through that writing process that's a little more complicated. We always want to work on finding your writer's voice. So how do you still sound like you, but also write in this academic vein? All right. And then, of course, how do you adapt? So how do you take those ideas that you're arguing and maybe shape them in different ways for different audiences and purposes and situations? So think about it to you. Why do you think you need this course? Maybe take a minute to think about or write down how you might benefit from having this knowledge, regardless of what your major is or your professional career choice, whatever that may be. Another reason that we want to take this course is because, and this quote specifically is from Weinberg and McGrew, in this case, Weinberg's research about information literacy. And Weinberg says that many assume that because young people are fluent in social media, they are equally savvy about what they find there. Our work shows the opposite. And I want to remind you too, though, this definitely goes beyond young people. This is true for anyone living in this digital age. So just because many of you are digital natives, meaning that you grew up surrounded by technology, doesn't mean it's not complicated as far as what we find there. So I would like for you to start thinking about how to work with the sources that are out there in the world, not only in your academic life, but also your personal life. Another reason is the citation project. So this started, many years ago, and they started with a sample size of around 2,000 students, and they were looking at how students work with sources. And of course, the findings were not great. They found that students aren't actually reading. They heavily base their work on web sources. Web sources aren't bad, but there are reasons that we need to dig into other kinds of sources that are out there. And of course, students are only citing from things like the first page or the abstract. So I want to help you figure out how to build time in to read your sources and how to look through them and how to find information in them that is useful for your projects. Another reason that I think it's important for you guys to take this class is the idea of bias. So students are constantly worried about presenting an argument and being biased. So bias is this idea that, as it says here, a tendency to believe that some people, ideas, or so on are better than others. And it results in sort of treating people unfairly. So it's this idea that you just think something is better because it is, and then that's just how it is. So there are different types of biases. We can have explicit bias, so we are conscious about it, we're deliberate about it. We just say this is not good and this is, and that's just what I believe. But there's also implicit bias. So if you're interested in this, I have a link at the bottom. You can type that into Google. It's Harvard's Project Implicit, which helps you see that we can also have biases that are sort of embedded in us, whether it's just culturally or through our society or how we grew up, or it's kind of this unconscious beliefs that we have, or these maybe projections that we have that we aren't even aware of. We just, it's just there because it's kind of how it's embedded in us. And it almost seems not fair, but it's important to have an awareness of this so you know what you kind of bring to the table anytime you're writing. And then there's confirmation bias, and this is really important in today's world. Also, this is known as selective collection of evidence. So that means that you may have a subconscious tendency to seek and interpret information that affirms these already existing beliefs that you have. So in other words, if you look for information to confirm your ideas, you can probably find it somewhere. So these are all ideas we're going to be working through this semester. And I also firmly believe that writing matters, communication matters, and this is true for any field, discipline, or career. And I can speak to that as the assistant director of the Writing Center and all the different majors we see in our center and the kind of writing that they are working with. So let's take a quick look at D2L very quickly. All right, so this is our home page. I'm going to replace the video here with the current video you're watching, but this will kind of show you. Here's the news feed. This is where I'll post things like our Friday updates or just little tidbits of information that I want you to be aware of. Most importantly is the content tab. And I have course overview documents here so that they don't get lost in all the different weeks. So these are our main documents for the course, but you'll start with week 1. So each week you should start on Sunday or Monday to make sure that you know what work is due by Friday at noon. And our due date is always going to be Friday at noon. You'll see the week's focus. So it's what you are expected to focus on for the week and why. And then under that, you'll have opportunities to learn. It's important, especially for those of you who are with me in 1010, 1020, you have to do all of the opportunities to learn. They're going to be critical to your success in the class. There will usually be some combination of watching videos, reading something, listening to something, and doing something. If I have a suggested reading, it's there for you if you need extra support. I know a lot of students have trouble with funding for textbooks. Your textbook readings are all suggested readings unless I have scanned that for you. And then as always, each time if you have a question, you can ask it in the Ask Me Anything board. So I will bring you to that. I would really love to see you guys utilizing this more this semester. So this is a place where you can ask anything class related. Can't get a video to work, don't understand something, do you need a clarification? This is the great place to go because oftentimes last semester, individual students would email me the same question. And I know you're worried like you're the only one thinking it, but it's not true. And a lot of classmates are going to be really relieved to see on the discussion board your question. They can jump in too if they have some answers that may help. And then I can jump in and everyone can kind of see that. Always, though, you're welcome to email me directly, but this is a great place for you to go. Place for conversations. This is also our discussion board. You can see everything already laid out for you there. I'm going to go back to week 1, though. And then finally, after opportunities to learn, you will always see what writing to learn assignments are due. And these are explained on your next video about the syllabus and the final grade rubric. But essentially here, I will have a task or 2 for you to complete. And again, these are always due Friday at noon. You can see any kind of weekly work that's due or any documents you need will be here. All of my links are always in purple and they're underlined so you can see them very easily. And then the final place you need to know is Dropbox. And again, I always have due dates over here to try to help you out. And I'm also going to try to keep the calendar, which I haven't added a few things, but I'll try to make sure our calendar is there so that you can make sure that you know when things are due. So please take a look next at the the syllabus video, and it also covers the final grade rubric. This is a portfolio-based course, so you're going to want to make sure that you are familiar with the final grade rubric now so that you can achieve the grade that you want by the end of the course. Essentially, you will be proposing your own grade for the course based on some criteria that I provide. So I welcome you to the class, and I'm really looking forward to working with you this semester.